To the Point with Michael Williams.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to The Point. I'm Tanya Rogers in for, you can tell, Michael Williams is off today. Well, school starts in 1 month. I can't believe it. Yep, mark your calendars. And while much of the focus on school security is on public schools, Martin County is also putting an emphasis on preschools and other soft targets. My guest this morning is Deputy Chief John Butenseek, who's joining us from the Martin County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure's mine.
So tell me about what are you offering people in the public to be aware of when it comes to school safety?
Well, as a sheriff's office, we have come into keeping with the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Act. So we have our school resource unit bolstered. All of our public schools all the way down through the grade schools are covered. So with the events going on in our society, we try to be proactive. We try to think ahead and look at other potential targets. Where could someone that's unstable or going to do something nefarious strike next? So we started looking at other areas like preschools where they could be potentially a soft target.
And this is any type of preschool, because we know that some people have a small preschool out of their home or like
Sure.
a little daycare out of their home.
That's true. In fact, there's probably a few that we don't even know about, but we sent out a robocall to all the preschools that we know about in our area, inviting them to the Martin County Sheriff's Office to kind of talk through the options that they have and give them the option to do site security surveys, for us to come out and evaluate their doors, their fences, their windows. There's an alert system that pipes straight into our Martin County dispatch. If something goes wrong, they can hit a button. It shows us right where the person is that hit the button. It tells us if the school's locked down. We dispatch immediately. So there's a lot of things that we can offer them as options to make their venue safer.
Let's go with the part of how much can you share about that alarm? And I know we had that on the
Sure.
news not too long ago. So you said it shows exactly where they are. Does it show which area even in the building that they're in, or it shows the property site that they're on?
It does both. So it's a robust system. The Martin County School District has already moved to that system. It works well with the Martin County Sheriff's Office. So every teacher, every school employee that has that, it's just a card that they carry around. If they hit the button, it tells us where on the campus they are. It alerts the Sheriff's Office. It alerts everybody that's on the campus that something's going on. So the message moves fast and we can respond in a rapid fashion.
How long has that been in effect for?
It started a few years ago, one school at a time, but in this past year, I think they finished out the rest of the schools. So the Martin County School District is up and running holistically.
Well, that's great. And if private schools wanted to have access to that too, they could as well?
Absolutely. So it's not exclusive to the public school system. It's something that they can purchase, and we would recommend it. Now, we know it's a cost, but us getting the message out through the media, through you all, some of the nonprofits that help these private schools, that help these daycares, can come along beside them and help them with that cost to make the schools and the daycares safer.
You've been with the Martin County Sheriff's Office for a while. Have you seen an increase in parents being concerned about their kids when they're in school?
Absolutely, and I'm also a parent. I have 4 children, so absolutely, of course. You
Oh,
can't,
right there. That's
Yeah.
4 kids. That's a lot.
Yeah, right. I'm not right. But of course, you can't watch what's going on in our world in the United States right now and not be concerned. And as a sheriff's office, we look at it also, and we have been for quite some period of time. A few years ago, when there was an issue at parades, we started putting more officers in SWAT gear out on parade routes, which at that time was kind of a little bit almost taboo because we were moving away from cops looking like military guys. But now they're out there in full force protecting our people. They're out there for the 4th of July doing the same thing. These school shootings, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas that happened in Fort Lauderdale, we ramped up for that. So it's just been one event after another, and we're trying to do our best. We can't be everywhere at all times, but if we work together as a community, we think we can make things holistically safer.
So you said you can't be everywhere. How can the community help though? Or how can moms and dads help?
Education and communication. And that's our goal for our July 26th meeting. Our goal is to get the people in charge of the preschools and the private schools in our sheriff's office, educate them on what's available to them. We can teach them classes on the protocols if there's an active shooter or there's a lockdown procedures. Again, we can help them harden their buildings. We can't finance it, but we can go out and do a site survey and tell them, okay, your doors are, for an example, your doors are in swing doors. Somebody could kick them in easily. Let's make them out swing doors. There's just smaller things that would make our job easier and would make their job actually easier for protecting their children, our children.
Now, the meeting that you're having on July 26th, that's a Tuesday at 9 a.m. How long does that meeting last for?
It really depends on, like I said, we're going to lay out the options that are available to them, and then we're really hoping to get a lot of question and answer in time. So we'll stay there as long as we're interacting and people are asking questions.
What's the cost? Free?
The meeting is free, yeah. It's just our deputies and our community programs people have put a lot of effort into this. They're concerned like we are. It's free. All they have to do is show up. Now, of course, there's cost if you go with some of our recommendations, but that's just, I mean, what's the cost of safety right now? And that's our goal.
And then tell me about homeschooling. You know, we forget about them sometimes, but there are large groups sometimes they get together to do their homeschooling together. So what's your advice to them? Should they be a part of this meeting as well?
We would love for them to come. Any group, and it doesn't have to be just preschools or homeschools or private schools, any group where children meet that want to come and listen to our message, and maybe they can give us ideas. We're going to give them our ideas, but you know, some churches, some of these preschools have probably gone to schools, they may know something that we don't, but we're encouraging anyone to come, and we're going to work together to make this a safer community.
It seems, I mean, to think about a preschool, but we have to think that. Does it get down to the detail, and I guess it would depend on how the preschool wants to handle it, does it get down to the detail of these kids are so young? I mean, is it you have to assign an adult to certain kids? Okay, if something happens, you look after those 3 kids or 4 kids. I mean, you have babies that are in these preschools.
A lot of that comes down to, the answer is yes. I think they're designed to look after a certain number of children, but most of that comes down to what happens outside. Is the building safe? Is it locked? Is there a way to breach the building, breach the doors and get in there? And if we can lock down the outside from allowing some person that's going to commit a crime or do something to those children from coming in, then we prevent everything from taking place.
So it's really just try to prevent it from getting any further than getting inside the building. It's protecting the people that are inside and from people from outside coming in.
Yes, and what we've learned from these mass shootings, unfortunately, like I started out, there's been a lot of them, and so we have to learn from the mistakes that were made. And just as something as simple as locked doors, we found that the shooter moved on to the next target. So these shooters are spineless, they're weak, and if something presents an obstacle for them, they don't know how to mitigate it. So our job is to present as many obstacles and deterrents as we can to keep them from even considering Martin County or anywhere in Martin County, or hopefully South Florida for that matter, as a target.
I know you don't want to give away too much because we have to be careful of what we have out there, but is there any other advice that you can give parents or educators that they can kind of do now or start preparing now while the summer is taking place?
Absolutely. Parents have been working with us all along. This has been going on for a few years. Tell us. We talk over and over about if you see something, say something. Well, that matters. We have a unit called a threat assessment group that works 24/7 on threats that come through social media, kids texting back and forth. Parents really need to pay attention to what's going on in their child's life, pay attention to their social media, pay attention to all that, and then they work with us to prevent a lot of bad things that could happen in the school. And when we get those messages, we go straight out there, we interview these children, these teenagers, we find out if they have the ability to carry out the threats that they have, we find out if they're joking or whether they have a mental illness. If they have a mental illness, we help them get resources. So it's a collective effort to keep everybody safe.
So I have teenagers and social media seems to be a big thing.
It is.
What's your advice about that? I mean, I know you said just to be careful of what they're looking at, but what other steps can we take?
Well, the kids need to know also that they're not snitching if they tell us if there's a problem. And I think holistically kids have reached that conclusion, but communication with the parents, sitting down with your children and saying, look, there's some things you need to do to keep yourself safe. I'm doing my best as a parent to keep you safe, but you have to let me know if you have a child in your school that is struggling or going through a bad time, or they made a statement, or there's just something off. We have school resource units now that are happy to come out there and talk to that child. It's anonymous, and then we'll investigate it and we'll make sure they're safe. And we do that daily now.
That's great. Okay, so before we wrap up, tell me again the date.
It's July 26th at 9 a.m. in the morning at the Martin County Sheriff's Office.
And where's the Martin County Sheriff's Office, just in case?
800 Monterey Road.
Okay, that's great. And do they have to sign up ahead of time?
We would prefer if they did. Our community programs manager, Tricia Kukufka, is in charge. So just reach out to the Martin County Sheriff's Office, ask for her, and they can sign up. And if they don't sign up, we'll welcome them anyway.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate that. Something very, very important. Still to come, political ads airing in Florida from the governor of California. We break down the ads and what it means for Florida politics in our roundtable discussion.